Waste time on shopping. Meg shocked as ex-employee confirmed her bossy attitude ruined the podcast. Recently, a former employee of Meghan has confirmed that she faked the Archetypes podcast. She claimed that Meg was wasting her time shopping and making employees do it for her. That was discovered by Spotify and they canceled the contract. Meghan Markle's former staff member has just come forward in her defense to set the record straight about all the rumors. Former Gimlet staff Randy Scott brought forward insights to these rumors. She weighed in on everything in a series of tweets that laid to rest all assumptions regarding the issue. The first tweet, according to Scott, read, "We did occasionally have producers do interviews, though never the main ones. However, at the same time, we never edited her asking questions into the interviews that producers conducted." Scott later went on to shut down any remaining suspicions and insisted that in no way was Meghan Markle's voice edited into the interviews because Meghan 100% conducted that whole interview by herself. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's podcast Archetypes has come to an end after only 12 episodes, but unnamed sources are claiming the podcast was not fully authentic and Meghan faked some interviews. Meghan Markle's Archetypes podcast may have been more than reliant on members of staff, with the Duchess allegedly making fake podcast interviews. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex recently severed their connection to Spotify, who called time on their £15 million deal after only 12 episodes from the pair. Archetypes, the podcast Meghan ran during their stint at the music platform, had allegedly used members of staff to fake podcast interviews, unnamed sources from Pod News claim. No specific examples were presented when Pod News made the allegations, but they said that multiple sources could confirm the recording style made by the podcast and which would edit and questions from Meghan after the fact. Of those unnamed sources, it was alleged some interviews on the show were done by other staffers, with questions edited in afterwards. Meghan did provide several high-profile interviewees, including Serena Williams, while hosting the show, although the podcast has since been scrapped. Alison Yarrow, a journalist from New York who was actually interviewed for the podcast, revealed it was actually a member of Meghan's team, not Meghan, who interviewed her. The deal has since come to a close, though, with a statement from both Archewell and Spotify saying they're proud of the series they made together, but that they will not continue. The duo faced flack afterwards from Spotify big shot Bill Simmons, who slammed the pair as grifters in an episode of his own podcast. The Daily Star previously reported the harsh words from Mr. Simmons, who was not too pleased about the duo's decision to announce their podcast would not be running for a second season after all. Archewell Audio and Spotify are understood to have mutually agreed to part ways, which will see the Duke and Duchess vacate the platform after only 12 episodes of the Archetypes podcast, and the Daily Star has contacted Spotify and Meghan and Harry's team for comment, though none have responded.